Are now live. We are back with Please Be Happy. We are on chapter 2. So, you remind me again. You said that the demo when you played it ended at chapter 1.
Yes, it ended at chapter 1.
Okay, so you don't know what happens from here on.
I don't know what happens.
Okay, and I sent a message to you in Discord. I think immediately after our first stream, to where it turns out that yes, there are branching paths.
Yeah, there's comfy and wild endings.
Yeah, and I was like, "What do you mean by wild ending?" So I'm not spoiling myself. I didn't look anything up.
Yeah.
When we come to that
Mm,
train that we have to diverge paths, then we will do
yeah.
that. I guess we'll have to do it
Okay.
twice. So I'll start. I'll read it first, and then I'll give you the heads up.
Okie dokies.
For the second day in a row, I wake up in a soft bed, my bed. It's early. Library downstairs is silent. No one else is here, aside from Juliet. I didn't even transform before falling asleep last night. Just passed out like this, with human arms and legs. Wonder I'm sore. After I agreed to Juliet's offer, the rest of the day passed by quickly. Aspen and Juliet showed me around the house part of the library, and Juliet made dinner for the three of us. Aspen didn't leave until the evening, and I decided to go to bed early. After the whirlwind of emotions I went through yesterday, I was exhausted and fell asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow. Not having to be on alert the moment I opened my eyes is a nice change. I can toss and turn and even doze a little bit longer. I get as much rest as my body will let me. Once I've had my fill of being lazy, I finally crawl out of bed.
Okay, time to get up.
It doesn't take me long to get ready. I tiptoe to the door out of habit so carefully that only someone with super keen hearing would be able to hear me. Then I remember.
Oh yeah, I don't need to sneak around while I'm here.
Oof, that's a mood.
Yeah. I loosen up and step out into the hallway, shutting the door behind me. Being so openly noisy is almost harder than being sneaky. The building is still quiet. Julia told me to come find her when I wake up, to make my way down the hallway towards the room she showed me yesterday. One of the last in the hall, tucked away in the corner. Unlike the other doors, a tiny bit of flickering light escapes from the gap below.
This is the place.
Now that I'm standing here, my nerves start to get the better of me. What if she's forgotten me this time and chases me away? Or what if... I screw my eyes shut, take a deep breath. Pushing away my worries, if I'm going to stay here for a while, I need to stop thinking like that. I can't let that fear keep winning. Forcing myself to be brave, I twist the doorknob and enter. Wait, I should have knocked, shouldn't I? It's too late now. I step into the room, only to be struck by how dark it is. With just one window, the main light source is a candlelit lamp, illuminating the white cloth figure sitting at her desk. Like the library downstairs, there are rows and rows of books covering the shelves around the room. I like this room setup though.
That is nice.
Juliet looks up to greet me, a gentle smile written on her face.
Oh, good morning, Miho. Did you sleep well?
She remembered me. I had my relief, I think.
I sure did. I think that might have been the best sleep I ever had.
I'm most glad to hear it. Would you like to sit down?
Oh, sure. Thanks.
There's only one other seat, so I awkwardly sit down across from her. It feels a little bit like an interrogation.
Would you like some tea?
I've never had tea, so I don't know if I like it or not. I think I should accept her offer out of politeness, though.
Sure.
Juliet pulls out a teacup from a shelf nearby, sets it on a little plate, then pours the tea without spilling a single drop. Pushes the plate with the cup over to me.
Sugar?
I've eaten enough human snacks to know that I like sugar.
Yes, please.
Juliet offers me a small pot full of little white cubes. Without hesitating, I take two and toss them on my mouth. They're kind of crunchy at first, but quickly fall apart. Juliet frowns, just a little, enough that a human probably wouldn't notice. Did I do something wrong? Wait, I know.
Oh, thank you.
That gets her to smile, so I'm pretty sure I did the right thing.
We'll have breakfast in a little while. Aspen usually comes by to help open the library, and then we eat together.
That sounds nice. Does she help out because of the sunlight?
My, of you. You're correct. Although I'm able to tolerate a bit of sun, I do prefer the dark. I wasn't sure if you knew I was a vampire or not.
Oh, okay. I figured she was like some form of animal since she said she had bats, but okay, vampire girl.
Ooh,
I'm down for that.
nice.
I figured it out just now. That
Yeah, I did not know she was a vampire.
huh?
I mean, I just assumed that like she just had like bats or like she could transform into a bat, but you know,
Mm.
vampires and bats, that fits perfectly.
Yeah,
Indeed.
tracks.
That said, I have my dear friend Orpheus to thank for helping me know where to find you.
Something scratches in the corner of the room, and I look up to notice a large bat dangling from a hook on one of the shelves. Has that been there this entire time?
Is he also?
No, Orpheus is a bat through and through, not a vampire. He happened to notice you on his way home one day.
So that's the friend you were talking about. I was wondering about that.
I have the pleasure of knowing several of Wellington's loco bats. They keep me apprised of news from around the city.
You're not like, you know.
I tap one of my front teeth, not sure how to ask the question politely.
Oh, heavens no. I consume as little blood as one of my kind can, and what I do partake of is freely donated. I love this city and its people. I'd never had them like that. Besides, I had quite enough of that during my time in the underworld. Is that where you come from as well?
Oh, I'm not from the underworld. I'm from Korea. I've heard lots about it though. I'm one of the only fabled I know of who doesn't come from there. For a long time, I didn't even know that other fabled existed.
Indeed. Gumio like yourself are some of the few I know of.
Oh, we got a raid. Hello, Noxy Knight. Hello, Raiders.
Ooh.
We are playing Please Be Happy with Hero. Hero,
Hi.
you want to introduce yourself and I'll do all the shout outs?
Oh yeah, yeah. So my name is Hero. You can call me Hero for short, and I am a variety British VTuber, well PNG tuber, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, Hero's here experiencing the story with me.
Mm-hmm.
My fingers do not want to work with me this morning.
Oh boy,
There we go.
that's a mood.
Hello. I know I'm not misspelling your name. BDSP again? How's your BDSP journey, or is it the same as last time when we played?
I struggled with maths questions during the steel gym. We had 2 casualties this time.
Oh no,
Yeah.
fellow Brit.
Yeah. Every time that I do the soul lock, it raises my blood pressure, and that's not good.
No, I feel that. I feel that.
It's so stressful. Oh boy.
Gumiho? Is that what I'm called? That explains a lot.
Gumiho?
No. But you
Yeah,
go by-
Gumiho is a weird. Yeah, you go by the name Miho. It's like
Just because I like the sound. I thought it was more like a nickname.
hold up. I want to know what Gumiho actually stands for. A Gumiho is a 9-tailed fox that appears in Korean folklore and legends. Oh, so it's an actual.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, and then the nickname Miho, you know, just so happens to be story beats, but that's cute. I like that.
Aw. Yeah.
I change it up wherever I go. Gumi, Homie, Migu. I've never had a real name.
Okay, yeah, she didn't know. She was like, I just like the
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
of these.
Yeah, I know that she changes it as she goes along, and then she found a name that sticks.
I wonder if we'd have much in common.
Have other foxes, well, Gumiho, lived the same kind of life I have? Maybe they're better at fitting in with people than I am, and that's why I've never seen one.
Are there any other Gumio in Wellington?
None that I know of. It's possible, though.
I'm not sure what I'd say if I did meet one.
I'd wondered about others like me before, but since I've never met one, I eventually assumed they don't exist. finding out what they do and that there's even a name for us comes as a pretty big surprise. No matter how long I've been alive, there's still so much that I don't know about the world. As our discussion tapers off, the sound of the front door reaches my ears from downstairs. Juliet must have heard it too, looking over as I do.
Oh, that'll be Aspen. Shall we go down to breakfast?
I'll never say no to that.
Juliet takes to her feet, blowing out the lamp as she goes. Orpheus the Bat leaves the study when we do, though he flies off in a different direction. I guess he won't be joining us for the meal. Alright, and you can go from here.
Yep. I have to be careful not to spill my cup of tea as we walk down the stairs. Aspen waits at the bottom, a large book tucked under her arm. She waves with a free hand to greet us.
Good morning, Aspen. It's nice to see you again.
Good morning, Juliet. And you too, Miho. I must admit, I was a little worried you might run off during the night. I may have thought about it a little. After I went to bed, though, I was out like a light. Glad you decided otherwise, then. Living in the library sounds like heaven. I can't believe you'd think about giving that up. Anyway, I'm opening today, so I can't stay too late. I'll go ahead and take care of the windows.
I'll get started on breakfast then. Would you like grape or strawberry jam?
I think I'm feeling like strawberry today. Oh, or some of that orange marmalade if there's any left.
I have never tried grape jam.
Really?
What? I wonder what that tastes like, other than grape. Grapes.
Okay, the thing is though, is that like, I think, okay, wait, what's the difference between jam and jelly? I thought they were like the same thing. I know marmalade's completely different.
So, all right, so over in the UK, so, let me have a, so jam for the Americans is like jelly, and then jelly in the UK would be Jello.
Jello?
Yeah, like, so for the Americans, like, Jello, we call it jelly in the UK. Jelly to the Americans, it's jam. The difference between jam and Jello over here, that jelly, it's a substance that wobbles. You can have it in trifles and stuff like that. And jam is like a preserves that you can spread on wherever really, like scones, toast, bread.
Yeah.
And it does come with bits and comes without bits. So you can have it like proper smooth, or you can have like the actual fruity bits that's in it. So like orange marmalade, for example, you can have like little like bits in it. You can have like little certain slices in.
Yeah,
As far
as I'm aware, jelly over here is smooth, and jam has bits, and then marmalade has more bits.
Yeah.
So marmalade is like definitely like you want some textures.
Yeah, like marmalade and jam over here are part of like the preserves family. So you get like curds as well that is really proper smooth, you know, like lemon curd, strawberry curd. It's like really, really smooth. But you can get jam with bits or without bits. And it's more, I don't know how to describe it actually.
Good to know, because like, because when you said you like, okay, for grape jelly, yeah, it just tastes like grapes. But I mean, a lot of
actually grape jam UK.
A lot of American like food and snacks in general are just like stupid high sugar. So that's really all you taste is just the sugar.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not bad. But considering that like we have, okay, so my wife and I have switched to like a healthier lifestyle somewhat. So like instead of getting white bread, we have like whole wheat. So the sugar is very much needed when you toast whole wheat bread.
Absolutely, yeah. I know that you can get sugar-free jam. It depends. Oh, I found Concord grape jam. On Amazon, and that's sugar-free.
Okay.
It's under the Smucker's brand. No, I heard that one before.
Smucker's is an American brand.
Oh.
But like Smucker's was also like they had the crazy concoction. I remember growing up, and it still exists today. Smucker's released it was a combination to where it had peanut butter and grape jelly in the same jar.
Oh.
So you didn't have to like have two different jars. You would just like scoop it out and you would have your PB&J already made.
Yeah. Hmm.
But it did not
Ah.
taste good because the textures were like, because they made the peanut butter like smooth, but it didn't really mesh well with the jelly in my opinion.
Ah, yeah. I know that a lot of the grape jams that I'm looking through, like in the UK, that they can be like homemade.
Mhm.
So I think that you're more than likely to find grape jam, like not in supermarkets, but like in like certain like I sometimes go to food festivals, and like when they do like preserve stalls, and they do like the weird and wonderful kind of like curds. Like, I once picked up a pina colada flavored curd.
Yeah.
And yes, nice. Yeah, but most supermarkets that I go to, they normally have like raspberry jam, strawberry jam, lemon marmalade, orange marmalade, lemon curd, this, that, and the other.
I think like again, we just get like grape jelly and that's really
yeah.
it. But when there's a sale, we will get local honey.
Ooh. Ah, yes. I get my honey on speed dial from a boyfriend as he works on an actual bee farm.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Like we have contemplated because we have a good amount of land here that we want to like have an apiary, but like we already have chickens and geese. Like we might and we're trying to grow a garden, so I'm like we might as well just get an apiary while we're at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so many flavored honeys.
Yeah, like honey is like, oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, really nice.
You have to let me try that too.
I'll see if we have it. Is that a nonce you have with you? You can just leave him on the desk for now.
It sure is. I'll be taking Jax on the way out.
A nonce? Jacko?
I guess it's the books she has.
Huh. The two of them stroll off in different directions while I stand on the stairs, unable to follow any of the conversation.
Who's Jax? Anonsei? I don't see anyone with you. This is Anonsei.
Yep, the books.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, she taps the cover of the book. She taps the cover of the book she brought with her.
He's the author of this. Juliet suggested I read some of his work, but I'm finding him rather dull.
Ah.
Huh.
I try my best to sound interested, but books are the most boring thing I can imagine. Maybe I'll see the appeal if I could read them, but how can it be better than doing things yourself? After setting down the book on the front desk, Aspen goes to the main room, leaving me alone in the hallway. I make my way down the rest of the steps. Looking down at my teacup, I decide to take a tiny sip. Yeah. It's kind of bitter, but also bland at the same time. Frowning, I set the cup down on one of the shelves nearby.
Okay, so I gotta ask, how do you take your tea?
Milk, 2 sweeteners.
Milk and 2 sweeteners?
Sometimes with a spoonful of honey, depends which honey I get.
It honestly depends on. Okay, so back it up first. What kind of tea?
Oh, right. If it's milk and 2 sugars, well, 2 sugars or 2 sweeteners, I normally take an English breakfast. That is my safe bet. If I take any other tea, like for example, like I once had a ginger and lemon tea.
Ooh.
I normally have that without milk, and I put like a dollop, like at least a teaspoon of honey. As much as me being a tea person, I don't really experiment much with teas because out of me and I live with my husband, I'm the only tea drinker. So I don't always go through the tea bags. But when we used to have a shop called T2 in the UK, I've tried various versions of breakfast teas. And my favorite one is what's called a New York breakfast tea, which is basically is like the aroma of like cinnamon and pancakes. And
Oh.
and T2, they used to have like a little barista bar like sort of thing where they can actually make you the actual tea to go. And I'm like, so they would do like I think I once had the New York breakfast tea there, like with I think either soya or oat milk with like a spoonful of honey. And it's like, oh, that's so fucking nice.
Because every morning, Tina and I have tea, because that's our caffeine intake for the day.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not a lot, but I mean, it helps us.
Yeah.
But usually we go for English breakfast. If we can't find English breakfast, there's Irish breakfast. And
Irish breakfast, that's a stronger version of English breakfast.
it is.
I love that. Yeah.
And then when we went to the Asian market, they had some oolong tea on sale, so we got some of that.
Ooh, I have yet to try oolong tea properly.
But I'm a little weenie, and I found out that I cannot drink tea straight. If I drink tea straight, it makes me vomit, sadly.
Yeah.
It's too bitter for me, so I am a child and I need like a bunch of sugar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sometimes when I forget to take sweetness in, at least it won't make me down my tea as much.
Yeah.
It's like it's drinkable, but I'd rather have something a little bit sweetened to make it a bit more palatable.
And as you said with the ginger lemon tea, that one is a little bit of sugar and some honey as well. Makes that go down so easy, and it's so nice. That's like a little treat sometimes at night.
Yeah. Sometimes I think with other teas that I take with milk and 2 sweeteners, I have what is called on the box a bedtime brew, which has got vanilla and nutmeg, and that's decaffeinated. And that's normally like a tea that I would take like a couple of hours before I go to bed. And yeah, like most English, like most breakfast kind of teas, you can, I normally take milk and sugar. I could ditch the milk, but it would take like, I just take my time with it.
What game is this? This is Please Be Happy. And yes, Miho has a really good outfit, but wait till you see Juliet.
Sweet.
I love Juliet's outfit.
Yeah, Juliet's outfit is good. Aspen's outfit is adorable.
Aspen is a really good casual. And now that I think about it, I should have realized, I don't know about you, but I should have realized that Juliet was like a vampire for sure with how extra her clothes are.
Yeah.
Like I just thought that, she was just, the extra. Like, I own a library. I'm going to, like, dress fancy. But it's like, no, I'm a vampire. I'm like, yeah, you're a little extra.
Yeah, I would have thought it's kind of like a Prince Charming, but like a Princess Charming.
Oh, true. Sense. Yeah, no. I see it.
Yeah.
What's the synopsis of this game? So far, Miho, the fox girl you see here, traveled to fictional New Zealand and is living her best life. Currently, we're in chapter 2. She's housing with Juliet, the owner of the library. And I'm assuming, like, Aspen is a roommate. Like, they haven't clarified what's going on here. Other than, like, either a roommate situation or we're poly. But, again, they haven't elaborated. But yeah. So, they're living together.
I love the fact only she went to Kiwi Land.
Yeah, she did go to Kiwi Land, but it's fictional. It's fictional. Because there's, it's a floating island. New Zealand's a floating island in this universe.
I want an attraction in New Zealand called Kiwi Land, where you're just surrounded by kiwi birds.
You know what?
And then, like, all, like, the menus are just kiwi fruits.
I was hoping that there was actually, like, an actual thing in New Zealand called Kiwi Land, but sadly there is not.
Oh, missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity, but I do know that kiwis are also nocturnal.
Mm.
Wait, you're from New Zealand? I'm not. Hero is
Oh
British.
God, we are not. No, I'm a UK baby.
I would love to go to Kiwi Land, but
Yeah. Oh, missed opportunity for New Zealand to not have Kiwi Land. But to be fair, the main attraction in New Zealand is like, you know, the tours around the Hobbit hole, so they got that covered.
Yeah,
so
I was about to
forgive New
say
Zealand for that.
that's.
Yeah, I forgive New Zealand for that.
I think that's like the only thing you go to New Zealand for. Why do they keep making the best racing drivers? Listen, Muppet, I know you're a race car driver. I know nothing about racing. The only thing about racing that I know is my dad was and kind of is still obsessed with NASCAR. And
Ooh.
I can't stand NASCAR. I remember he took me when I was like 8 or 9 to go watch a
Yeah.
race, and
Ooh.
I came back like covered in rubber because you're
no.
out in the sun. There is no umbrellas. There's no shade, and
Ooh.
yeah, it's just hot. It was like the middle of summer.
Please tell me you have, you know, they provided you like a lot of like sun cream.
I was thinking about that, and I was just like, I remember I made I'm sorry, Muppet, but I made the bad taste joke to my dad because I was like, I got bored. I was like 8 or 9, and racing is going around in a circle, and I was like, I'm gonna go use the restroom and go walk around the stadium, and he's like, why? You're gonna miss the race. I'm like, they're going left. What am I missing? I'm sorry. I know it's a mean joke to racers and everyone. I know you guys are having fun.
Oh God.
Can have my streams
Well,
before my break. It's all good.
Yeah, like it can't be any more boring than like British football that all they do is kick a ball around.
Like I can watch bands from racetracks. Listen, I can watch like VTuber friends race because like, you know, virtual racing is so much more different and more exciting.
Yeah.
Running iRacing also, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the virtual racing is fun, and like virtual sports is fun. But yeah, going to watch a football game is not, well, soccer for me, but yeah, football for you. It's like it's okay.
Mm.
I think the only sporting event that I actually somewhat enjoy is baseball, and it's like very iffy enjoying baseball.
Yeah. You know what? We don't have baseball in the UK. We have something very similar called rounders.
I've never heard of rounders.
Rounders is like you know how soccer is like to Americans as like British football?
Mm-hmm.
I think rounders is like baseball to us.
Okay.
But I've always been intrigued by baseball. Like, I kind of know like how it works, you know, like with the strike one, striking out, ball, home runs, first base, second base. So it's kind of like, I think rounders is kind of similar. But it's been a dog's day since I've last played rounders. I think I was last in school when I last played it. It's mainly what you play like in school. Not sure if there's anything competitive, although netball was a thing. Netball was like basketball, but you have your feet planted to the ground and you don't bounce the ball.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I've always preferred netball when it comes to any kind of like sports at school. It was like, it was the only one I was decent at if I was two certain positions, and that's wing attack or wing defense. Just charge right in and grab the fucking ball and yeet the ball at another player and then don't do anything else.
I growing up, I did flag football, and then where I grew up, the sadly toxic male masculinity thing was like, you gotta play football, and I hated it. I hated it so much. Then I played baseball, and I was like a pro at baseball. But then I stopped. I didn't get to play in high school because pretty much everything was like, you had to pay to win in my town for baseball. So like,
pay to win, ew.
Yeah, like it essentially came down to the high school team being like, hey, if you want to join the high school team, you got to pay like $500 up front. And I'm like, but why? They said, oh, it's just for, you know, reasons, and of course, it was some illegal stuff that came up later. Um, but yeah, then I just became a track and field girly. I was like, I'll just run, I'll do my own thing, and I'll have a good time.
Mm. It's kind of like, I understand if you have to pay the fee, like for like uniforms, like the training, or like the, like for, to cover petrol or gas or this, that, and the other, but $500.
Yeah, it was
That's daylight robbery.
it was a little bit of illegal
Christ.
stuff happening.
Oof.
Hockey's good.
Yeah.
Hockey was a thing that like I live too far south in America to
Yeah.
where like there's no ice, there's no reason for people to have hockey teams.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to enjoy that.
Yeah, I think the only kind of hockey I played was in school, and that was like ground hockey. So
Yeah.
not played ice hockey. But yeah, I just said, look, stick me at goalie, and everything was like happening on the other side, and I'm just like, I can just chill.
I'm the same. I
Yeah.
Ugh. All right. Let's get back to reading.
Right. At least I tried it. The sugar was way better though. The door Aspen went through was still open, and I can hear her bustling around. The room where Juliet went isn't far away either, and I already smell food.
They better show the food.
I guess I'll go watch.
I guess this is them calling both of the people out.
Ah. I follow my nose and head to the kitchen. There's a big... Ooh, the sizzle. There's a big frying pan on a stove with a blob of melting butter sizzling in it. Juliet gives the pan a push to move it around before walking to the counter to continue her work.
That smells great.
Oh, Miho. Go ahead and take a seat if you'd like. This shouldn't take long.
I do what she suggests and sit down at the dinner table in the same spot as yesterday. Lovely smell swirls around the room as she opens this jar and that.
What you making?
Yeah, she is cooking in that outfit. I wish that they had separate outfits, like pajamas and whatnot, but like she's extra.
Okay, she's cooking and then she's cooking in that outfit.
True.
Yeah. I mean, like, is she cooking? Damn, yes. What you making?
With some fresh fruit. It's what we usually have. Is that all right with you?
Oh, fried eggs with
Ooh.
like the butter or buttered toast. Either way.
Yeah, I'm more of a scrambled eggs person myself, but fried eggs, you can't go wrong with that.
Eggs in a basket's pretty good.
Better than alright. I'm almost drooling just thinking about it.
I hope that it lives up to expectations then.
You cooking food in that? Yeah, she is.
Yep. Shh, she's Princess Charming. She can do anything. I watch she quickly butters a few slices of bread and then tosses them to another pan on the stove. While it cooks, she takes an apple from the nearby bowl of fruit and cuts out the core before swiftly chopping it into perfectly even pieces. Oh,
Did that
yes.
fast.
Practice makes perfect, as they say. And I've had quite a lot of practice.
After moving the apple slices onto a plate, she takes an orange and starts to do the same thing.
The bats enjoy fruit as well, so I tend to keep a lot of it around the house.
Gonna have fruit flies with all that around though.
Yeah.
If there are any items you'd like me to keep around the house for you, do let me know.
Something tells me that snacks from the convenience store aren't what she has in mind.
You're in my house. You're getting good quality.
Yeah.
I'll tell you if I think of anything.
Juliet finishes the fruit before dropping the eggs into the pan with butter, where they start to sizzle too. Finally, she sliced the toast out and onto the plate. Right as the eggs finish cooking and Juliet sets the table for the three of us, Aspen daintily steps into the room.
All set on my end.
Thank you. I just finished cooking too.
We all sit down and dig in. The food, of course, is delicious.
So, president? I don't know yet. Hadn't really thought about it. Now that you mention it, I'll have a lot more free time now, huh? Usually I'd go hunting for food or looking for a better place to stay, or...
Instinctively, I go silent as I reach for my pocket and the familiar crumpling paper.
Or...
If it's something you don't want to share, don't feel that you must.
Right, that too.
I hesitate. I'm not sure if I ever told anyone about what I'm searching for, or at least not the specifics. I've had a lot of first times lately, though. What's one more? Besides, maybe the two of them can help.
No, it's okay. I've been looking for someone.
I wipe my hands first, making sure they don't have any crumbs or grease on them. Then, I carefully slide the thin scroll from my pocket. I always keep it in the deepest part, where it won't get wet or damaged. With great care, I gently unroll it, letting the two women see the ink markings brush into the scroll. The edges are fuzzy with age by now, but the text is still legible. I think, anyway.
They gave me this a long time ago. I don't know what it says.
Is that Korean? Maybe Chinese? I'm not able to read either one, unfortunately.
They remind me of older Chinese characters, but I can't be certain myself. Sorry, but I'm not too familiar with them either.
They look a little defeated, but I quickly wave off the concern.
It's okay. Nobody I've asked could read it either. For all I know, they might just be scribbles. I thought that maybe if I knew what it said, it would help me find them.
Who exactly are they, if I may ask?
They're a traveler. I learned that word just to be able to describe them. They were the first human I ever met. They told me stories about the rest of the world.
And you've been searching for them ever since then?
Yep. For as long as I can remember. I met them back in Korea, when I was a fox. I couldn't understand what they were saying. Not until much later.
Reminiscing about them gives me a very particular feeling. It's warm and fuzzy, but also a little sad. I think people call it nostalgia. My voice is a little quieter as I finish what I mean to say.
But that never stopped them from coming to see me. I don't know their name or even where they're from, but I'll definitely recognize them when I see them again.
Both Aspen and Juliet are quiet for a moment, visibly thinking over what I've said. After a long while, it's Juliet who speaks first.
In that case, I'd be happy to assist in any way I can.
Me too, of course. Speaking of which, I may have found something useful to you. I was doing a little bit of research on Gumiho last night. There was surprisingly little to be found compared to some of the other fabled.
Wait a sec. You found out that I'm a Gumio too?
Well, yes. It wasn't too difficult to look up. Is that odd?
So, in less than a day, both Aspen and Juliet were able to learn something about myself I couldn't in a lifetime.
I guess not.
I only realised how I sound after I said it. Juliet shoots a look at Aspen, who quickly tries to move the discussion along.
Anyway, I was trying to find out why Juliet and I can remember you when nobody else can. Although I didn't find anything about memories in particular, there was one story that claimed a Gumiho's curse doesn't take effect until a full day later.
Oh, of course! And since you and I both saw Miho again before too much time passed, we didn't forget her.
Right, that also makes sense from what you told us yesterday, Miho, doesn't it? You said you don't tend to talk to people a second time.
Yeah, I usually try to avoid it, really.
I hadn't ever thought of my magic as a curse before, but I guess to the person who forgets me, it is.
So that means that all we have to do to avoid forgetting about Miho is...
It's impossible to miss the pause before Aspen's words, like she's not confident in what she's about to say.
see her every day. Forever.
Ah, that's where it comes in.
Forever. Sorry, forever. That word hangs in the air. Aspen says cheerfully, but even I can recognize just how impossible that is. At some point, even these two will forget me, won't they? Why even try then? Why bother if I know it'll just hurt in the end? On cue, those kinds of doubts starts to swirl in my head like always. It's so tempting to just stop caring and give up on others. That's a mood. No, I won't let myself dwell on that. Not on my first day living here. Who knows? Even if it's a long time from now, maybe these thoughts will go away for good. Juliet clears her throat before the silence goes on for too long.
Well, that's not bad at all. Preserving the memory of those you hold dear is one of the most important parts of life.
Ponders for a moment before nodding.
It really is.
It seems a little early for either of them to consider me dear to them, but I keep that to myself.
So, anyway, about Jax.
For a relief, Aspen changed the subject away from me and my magic. As Juliet and Aspen chat between themselves, the conversation drifts onto things I don't know about, and people in places I don't recognize. It's probably all related to books. I smile and laugh when they do, but I'm not really paying attention or talking. Listening to the two of them, they may as well be speaking a different language. The more I observe, the more it seems I'll have to learn. Not just about normal people and human life, but about myself as well, and even the world. In one day, both Aspen and Juliet were able to figure out what I am, how my magic works. I've had a long time to do that, and still have no idea. It doesn't even seem like it was hard for them. There's something I have to admit to myself. I haven't really tried before. Just what have I been missing out on? I feel something bubbling up inside me, the same feeling as yesterday when I decided to come back to the library instead of running away. Something that makes me clench my fists and take a deep breath as I make another decision. Something that I realize I can put a name to, even though it's a new one for me. This is what people call hope. Even if it's pointless in the end.
I want to learn how to be a person.
I'm sorry? Juliet cuts off whatever she was saying mid-sentence. Both she and Aspen turn to face me, eyes wide. Oops. I guess I should have started off by waiting for them to stop talking. That's a mood.
What?
I've already messed this up, but I keep going.
Be a person. To know about the things you two are talking about. All the stuff that you give me a weird look for when I don't know. I want to learn about it.
I'd say that you're already well on your way.
Her expression becomes quite serious as she continues. I'm a little glad. She sees as much weight behind this as I feel about it.
Miho, there are some things that you can't rush or change overnight. This is definitely one of them. That said, starting can be the hardest part. You've already taken the first steps.
What Juliet said. I'm sorry, too. I didn't mean to keep you out of our conversation.
No, it's okay. I was busy thinking anyway. I can't stop looking for my person, of course, but maybe I can do more than that too.
We'll help you in any ways that we can.
Aspen nods in agreement, but then checks the time and sighs.
It'll have to wait until later, though, because I need to be leaving for work. I'm sure Juliet needs her rest, too.
Thanks. I am rather tired. Will you be all right on your own for the day, Miho?
Yeah, I should be. I'll figure out something.
Oops, sorry.
Wonderful.
Oops,
Here,
alright.
Let me take this.
He gets up and collects the dirty plates, then carries them to the sink.
Tomorrow I have to go in earlier than usual to open. If you come by, I can make you that drink again, Miho. As long as you promise not to run away, that is.
Sure, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere this time. Although, will it still be at home?
At home?
Like, free.
Oh,
On the house.
On the house, yeah.
Oh, on the house. Yes, of course. This should probably be the last time, though, or my boss will start getting upset.
Aw, okay. It was nice while it lasted.
Aspen pauses as she rises from the table and starts to leave.
You know, getting a job might be a good idea if you're serious about living a normal life. It's hardly the most fun, but then you could buy as many fairy kiss chillers as you want.
A job? Sounds like a pain.
It is a pain. Don't do it.
It is a pain. Aspen just sighs as I sink into my seat. The way she talks about having a job makes it sound awful.
Well, it's just a suggestion. See you later, Juliet. Miho.
With that, she takes a leave as Juliet and I wave her off. After the distant sound of Juliet shutting her bedroom door, the whole library is silent, leaving me alone with my thoughts in the kitchen. The front doors are unlocked and open to everyone, so it's just a matter of time until the first guests arrive. Anime?
Well, what do I do now?
Your best. The empty room doesn't have an answer. Right about now, I usually be scrounging for breakfast or scoping out a new place. Or maybe even plotting where I'll spend the night. With a full belly and a bed to come back to, I don't have to worry about any of that. Instead, I have a lot of free time on my hands.
Guess I'll explore.
It's how I've been spending a lot of my time recently anyway. And where Juliet and Aspen seems fine so far, it's still a little tiring to be around other people so much. Having some alone time is important too.
Okay, I'll go from here.
Okay.
Making my way into town, I try to pay more attention to what people are doing, instead of searching for opportunities. I meant what I said about wanting to be more of a person, but small steps are easier for me. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's observing. Of course, I'll also be keeping an eye out for anything that can help me find my person, but I have to admit that I don't have much of a plan for that. Usually when I go to a new country or city, I'll try to find someone who might know them or who recognizes my scroll. I usually prefer asking other fabled. They're easier to deal with than humans. Not a very efficient plan, if I'm being honest. I'd have to get really lucky for it to work, but I haven't come up with any better ideas. Now that Aspen and Juliet have offered to help, maybe they'll be able to think of something new. For now, I'm just killing time. I take it slow, passing through the city, and even pop into some stores along the way. One is full of musical instruments, while right next door is is a store selling kitchen utensils. Across the street is another place with racks full of used clothes. I step into each store and pace around the aisles, just browsing. Usually I never come to these kinds of shops, even though they all have some expensive stuff. It's all bulky and hard to carry. Plus, I've learned the hard way that some pawn shops and buyers are good at guessing when something's stolen. Now that I'm paying more attention to what's for sale, I realize that I don't even know what a lot of this stuff does. In the kitchen store, there's normal pots and pans and dishes, which makes sense. There's also a bunch of different gadgets with all kinds of shapes and sizes. I can't even guess what you'd use some of them for. At the music store, I recognize a few instruments, like guitars and pianos and drums. There are also a bunch that I've seen before, but don't know the names of. Most of the kinds you play with your mouth. Then there are some that I've never seen, and can't even be sure are actually instruments, not some other kind of device. I seem to be the only one having this problem. In both stores, the other customers I've seen all walk around like they know what they're doing, or at least are looking for something in particular. I try to listen in on a conversation that someone's having with a salesperson, but it's just like listening to Aspen and Juliet talk. I don't recognize half the words. In the end, I don't spend long in either store.
This is already harder than I thought.
Nearby, there's a clock outside one of the stores, and it informs me that it's only been an hour or so since I left the library. There's still a long time before Juliet will be up. I guess I'll keep looking around. Although I'm not expecting much, I continue to browse through most of the shops I pass, just for something to do. I think about going by the Bell House and saying hello to Aspen, but when I get there, there's a line at the door and around the building. Peeking through the window, I don't even see her. Instead, someone else is taking orders at the counter. I don't feel like waiting, so I keep walking instead. I end up walking for as long as I can, stand it, past the skyport and beach, past Mount Victoria, back towards town yet again. When it eventually gets too boring even for me, I head back to the library. Much busier now than when I left it. There's a pile of books on a desk that people have brought back, and checkout sheet is half full. Some of the chairs are occupied, and at least a dozen people are browsing the shelves. None of them pay me any mind, even when I grab a snack from the kitchen and then head up to my room. In there, I do the only thing there is to do. Flop onto my bed and look up at the ceiling. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad to have a bed to do that in. It doesn't help much right now.
So I can be bored outside or bored inside.
In my normal life, I'm usually too busy to be bored. Having time to rest and relax can be a luxury. Now I've got more time than I know what to do with. I didn't even realize this would be a problem.
Guess all I can do is wait for Juliet.
Hopefully, she'll have some ideas. I get the feeling she could give advice on anything.
May as well get comfy.
Yawning, I get under the covers and then transform into a fox. With a soft pillow under my head and a cozy blanket above me, it's a lot like being in a very comfortable den. And after all the walking I did, a nap does sound pretty nice. If I'm lucky, I won't wake up until Juliet does. Wrapping my tail around my face, I close my eyes and eventually drift off to sleep. It's almost dark out when I finally open my eyes. Just like this morning, it takes a second for me to remember where I am. I burrow my way out of the blankets, and then retake my human form, rubbing the sleepiness from my eyes. Hi, Groggy.
That nap worked better than I expected.
Hopefully, Juliet will be awake by now. If she isn't, I don't know what I'll do. There's no way I'm falling back asleep anytime soon. Unlike this morning, when I passed by Juliet's office, there's no light from under the door. I do catch the sound of something going on in the kitchen, so I make my way downstairs. In the kitchen, I'm treated to quite the sight.
Good evening, Miho. I'll be with you in just a moment.
It's not just Juliet in the kitchen, but 3 bats as well. One clings to the back of the chair. Aspen sat in the morning, and another is on top of the fridge. The third one is perched on Juliet's shoulder. I think it's the same one that I saw in her office. Juliet's holding a small bag and handing out the contents to the different bats. On closer inspection, I realize they're bugs. All the bats devour them greedily, including the one nibbling by Juliet's ear. Doesn't seem to be bothered, and hands them each another treat. They're kind of cute, though.
Yeah, baby bats.
All right, here are the last ones.
The bats in the chair and fridge finish their snacks, and they fly over my head and out of the kitchen. Their wings nearly clip me in the face, and the gust they create blows my hair around. The last one stays on Juliet's shoulder, even after it's finished eating, and then Juliet picks up a small envelope from the counter and ties it to one of the bat's legs.
Thank you, Orpheus. We'll see you soon.
Launching itself off of Juliet's shoulder, Orpheus takes flight and exits through one of the library windows. even though he was much bigger than the other bats. It doesn't look like Juliet was phased by being used as a launch pad.
My apologies, Miho. You caught me just at dinner time for the bats.
It's okay. I just woke up.
Oh? I take it you had a busy day then.
Well, not really. Just walked around for a while and then took a nap because didn't know what else to do.
I see. I'm sorry to have left you on your own all day. I should have made sure you were taken care of before I went to sleep.
She sure does apologize a lot. Is that what it means to be polite? It makes me kind of uncomfortable. Not like she did anything wrong.
What are some of your hobbies? There are all manner of things tucked away in this room. All that throughout the library.
Hobbies. I don't think I know that word.
Something you do for fun, just because you enjoy it.
Oh, I don't really have anything like that.
Although she raises her eyebrows, Juliet just nods. I'm guessing that wasn't an answer she was expecting.
I think I understand. Well, perhaps that should be our first order of business. I believe you'd find your life much enriched with something amusing to do.
Okay. Like what?
She ponders for a moment, tapping the countertop beside her.
It could be anything. A sport, an art, or even something like watching television. Whatever brings you joy.
Pretty sure I've never tried any of those.
Then, it seems we have plenty of options to start with. I know you've done a lot of walking today already, but I need to go into town to run some errands. Would you be interested in accompanying me? Maybe we'll see something along the way that strikes your fancy.
Sure. Fine by me. Not like I've got anything better to do.
With a smile, Juliet gathers up some more papers and envelopes from the table and tucks them under her arm.
Let's be off then.
I'll let you have this.
Okay. Leaving the library unlocked, we set off down the familiar path. Juliet maintains a brisk pace, but isn't too fast. I like this a lot more than going slow.
So, Miho, how are you enjoying Wellington itself so far?
I like it. It's not too big and it's not too small. Like that there's the ocean and mountains close by.
Yes, we're truly fortunate to live in such a paradise.
How'd you end up here in the first place? You said you came from the underworld, right?
That's correct. I was much wilder and irresponsible in those days. But then, I met someone who changed my life. Someone who made me want to be a better person. And part of that meant reinventing myself, with a new life in a new place. Rather like what you've been doing too.
Huh. I can't picture you being crazy like you said.
That's something of a relief, but it was certainly true at the time. Sometimes, it does feel as if I was an entirely different person back then. It can be difficult to reconcile who we were with who we are, or want to be.
Doesn't seem like you had too much trouble with it.
I wouldn't say that. For one, this was very long ago. And even now, I continue to change. Everyone does. Perhaps in a few hundred years, I'll look back on these days, and they'll also seem like someone else's life.
Maybe.
Not that I think Juliet is lying, but it seems to me that she's just being modest. I may have not known her for long, but if anything, she seems a little too perfect. It isn't too late in the evening yet, so there are plenty of other people out and about too. Occasionally, someone will recognize and greet Juliet, and she always gives them a friendly greeting in return. After walking in silence for a couple of minutes, I clear my throat.
I've got a question.
What is it?
Do you always walk places?
As opposed to?
flying. Can't you turn into a bat?
Oh, yes. I suppose I can. I do so only sparingly, though.
Kind of want to see bat form though.
Yeah, bat Juliet.
I find that I appreciate life more as a human than as a bat.
Why? That's weird. Like being a fox a lot more. Being a human just feels clumsy. Your arms and legs are way too long and get in the way all the time.
I suppose that's true. It can be quite awkward at times, or even embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly! I've never been embarrassed as a fox.
I understand. There are certainly downsides. I believe the good makes up for the bad, though. Some things are only possible as a human, or fabled.
Like what? I can't think of any, other than talking like this.
Like writing, for one thing, as our dear friend Aspen would surely mention. Or perhaps like dancing. Have you ever danced, Miho?
Nope, never. I don't get why people do it either. Don't tell me you like dancing. Is that your hobby?
I must confess that I do enjoy it. At times, that is. I wouldn't call it a hobby. But with the right person, at the right moment, it can be quite nice.
Yeah, that's the
If you
mood.
say so.
I find myself saying that a lot lately. Shaking and flopping your body around to music? It's not for me. I don't even know how they come up with this stuff. But I'm trying to remember to be polite, so I keep that part to myself.
So, on that note, I should have asked this earlier. Are there any hobbies that you have as a fox?
I never thought about it that way. Now that you mention it, almost everything is better as a fox. The sun feels nicer on my fur than it does on my skin. Flowers smell better and more interesting when I sniff them. It's more vivid.
I remember Aspen using that word and explaining what it means. I bet she'd be proud if she heard me use it.
You do make it sound lovely. But are those things you do for fun?
Well...
I almost say yes right away, but then I think about it for a second. I do love things I mentioned, but maybe they don't fit what Juliet is asking.
I guess not. They feel good, but they're not fun.
That's still valuable too.
So far, we've been following the same path that I took earlier when I went into town. But when we come to a crossroad, Juliet turns in the direction of the neighborhood instead of the city.
The first stop I need to make is down here. After that, we'll go look around and see if there's anything fun.
Alright, I'm just following you.
It isn't the same neighborhood where I hid from Juliet a couple of nights ago, although it's pretty similar. Some of these houses are that sort that reminds me of Bugs when I first arrived in Wellington. We stop at one of them, a little one-story house with a porch light on. I follow Juliet to the front door and she rings the doorbell.
Is this for one of your errands?
Yes, we're delivering those papers that were requested.
She straightens out.
Oh, sorry.
Door open. It's all right. I'm presuming that she straightens out and rang the doorbell. The door opens and a young woman carrying a baby stands behind it.
Oh, Miss Juliet! So good to see you.
With one of her trademark smiles, Juliet hands over the papers, and the two chat for a bit. I lean against the wall, not involved or listening. When talking to the lady, Juliet uses the same warm tone and softness as when she's talking to me and Aspen. In fact, if I close my eyes, I can almost pretend that I'm back at the breakfast table with both of them, listening to them go on about books. Eventually, the woman takes a folder, and after saying goodbye several times, we leave. As soon as we're off a property, I turn to Juliet.
What was that all about?
I suppose you could call it another one of my hobbies. Sometimes patrons have requests for information on their ancestors or a piece of history that they'd like to learn about. For example, Mrs. Aliyu wanted to know about her husband's culture so she could teach her new child. I find and collect what's requested and bring it to those who asked.
Whoa! Sounds like a lot of work.
It can be, but I don't mind it. The past is worth preserving, but not everyone knows how. It's my honor to help people do so. I have assistants too, such as dear Orpheus, who is delivering a letter on the far side of town for me.
Are all the bats your helpers?
Some more than others. They're friends, not pets. And so if they don't feel like helping, then I won't force them.
To me, it sounds like a lot of trouble to go through for someone else, even with the bats helping out, but Juliet apparently likes being inconvenienced. It's the same as letting me stay in a library. Still, that sounds like it could be really helpful in my own search for the traveller. As Juliet leads us to our next destination, we leave the residential area and go back towards the city. I try to keep my eyes peeled for anything interesting. There are plenty of people sitting out at tables having a meal or walking around the shops, but nothing out of the ordinary. In fact, it's not that much different from when I was here earlier. They are more fabled and fewer humans, but there are still plenty of those too. Some of the places I passed by are closed now, but some, like the music store, are still open. When we come to a big building with a lot of posters on the walls outside, we stop.
This is one of our movie theaters. They show all the most popular films, as well as independent ones from local creators. Have you ever been to see a movie before?
Not in a place like this. I know what movies are, but I don't think I've ever watched one.
You should try it sometime. Maybe you'll find you like them. Movies can make you feel all kinds of different things. Happy, sad, scared, or just amused. Some are good for making you think, and some are good because you don't have to think about anything and can just relax.
Why would I want to watch something that makes me sad or scares me?
For some, it's fun to explore different emotions in a safe environment like that. When we see something that makes us feel strongly, it can stick with you. Perhaps cause you to view things in a different light. And if it ever becomes too much, you can simply stop watching or put on something else.
I'll try it sometime. Although, I don't know about the sad or scary ones.
There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has different preferences.
Along the way, Juliet continues to point out different shops and locations that she thinks I should know about, like another library or a museum. I'm not very interested in either of those things, but I smile and nod and pretend like I am. After a while, we leave the city behind and reach the waterfront, just like I usually do. The ocean looks much different at night, with the starlight and moonlight reflecting off the water. Far out at sea, there are a few lights that must come from the boats, and sometimes lights in the sky from passing airships. We head down a small path to the Broadwalk, where we look out onto the water. There are a few empty buckets sitting on the ground nearby, as well as some folding chairs. I point them out.
What are those for?
People like to fish off at this pier. They come at all hours, but I believe this spot is used for teaching lessons during the day.
Ooh, lessons on how to catch fish?
That's correct. Is that something you're interested in?
Maybe.
Girl who likes to fish is after my own heart. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I like doing as a fox, but I don't know if I'd like doing it the human way.
Should you decide you'd like to try, I'm sure there would be someone here who's happy to instruct you.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll read this next part, but I really gotta use the restroom.
Okay.
Be right back.
Okie dokies.
Okay, I'm back.
Hey.
Get back in my chair. I don't want to commit to anything, but it couldn't hurt to come check this place out during the day.
I'm glad you found something that struck your fancy. Is there anywhere else you'd like to visit while we're out? Or should we return home?
Nah, I'm ready to head back. Is there anything for dinner?
I'm sure we can put something together.
Then let's go.
Does I actually know where we are now? I'll lead the way home, with Juliet close behind me. It's another chilly morning in Wellington. I'm outside the Bell House waiting for Aspen.
People are gonna think I'm staking this place out. And for once, that isn't true.
It's after breakfast, but before the sun's up. Aspen invited me for a free drink before they open, but I'm starting to think I've been duped.
Anytime now.
I rub my arms and bounce around to try to stay warm. Right as I'm thinking about picking the lock myself, the front door swings open and Aspen waves me inside.
So anyway, like I was saying, my uncle taught me this trick to make it taste better. You put a little bit of salt in the coffee and it brings out the flavor, right? Not too much. You don't want to make it salty, but just a little bit.
Sorry about that. I got a little held up.
I was thinking maybe you forgot about me after all.
No, no, you're not rid of me that easily. I was just...
I tried it and it's really good. Have you tried it? Remind me, I'll make you one. So then I was thinking, if I start doing that every time I make a drink, eventually people will start realizing that their coffee's better when I make it, but they won't know why.
I've had so many coworkers like Lina, and it has driven me up the wall.
I can imagine.
Talking to Lena. That can always take longer than you expect or plan for. But she and I often look the other way for each other on certain things. Such as letting you in before the store opens, for instance.
Oh, am I not supposed to be here?
That's cool! As long as we open on time, it's fine, and Lena and I are the two fastest. You kind of have to be when she's involved.
What do you mean?
I'm sure you'll see. Come on, what do you want today?
I inspect the menu. It's as helpful as ever.
Here's a paper to read?
He hands me a little printout menu. It's also distinctly lacking pictures.
Sorry, can't read it.
Oh, do you need a Korean version? I'm afraid we don't have one.
Oh, nah. Can't read any languages.
I may as well have told her that the sky is green. She's like,
Close up.
she's like,
What?
girl, we are getting you in like hooked on phonics. You
Yeah.
need to read.
That's like the what?
I fell in love with her and she can't read. Oh no.
Oh god.
Aspen stares at me in clear disbelief. This isn't the usual weird look. This is beyond that. This is the I am concerned for your well-being look.
Yeah.
She laughs nervously.
You're joking, right?
I shake my head. She collapses onto a stool behind her, fanning her face with the menu in her hand.
I can't believe it. I just can't. So you've never... You haven't... Wow.
I could tell she really wants to say more, but holds herself back.
I suppose that explains a lot. Still, I just can't imagine.
Jesus.
It takes a moment, but she regains her composure.
Anyway, if you want to try something new, then how about our ambrosia latte? It's one of our seasonal beverages with apple and caramel.
Ooh, with like a caramel
Ooh.
drizzle and like, oh.
Yes.
Apples and coffee. I've never
Ooh.
had that before.
Or like with the caramel syrup, and you know, like the bits from an apple crumble.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
Mm.
Hi said that we should try adding more cinnamon to it.
Nobody cares, Lena.
Lena, go away. I'm flirting.
Lena, go away.
I don't even know where Lena comes from. Suddenly, she's just there.
Aspen said it would overwhelm the other flavors, but I add extra whenever I make one, and so far no one's complained.
Lena, are you serious?
Well,
Lena.
Yeah. How else are we gonna find out which one's better? I'll make one for your friend too, and she can tell us which one she likes more.
Lena?
To be fair, I'm a little bit like Lena when I do something I think is better than how other people do things at work.
No, that's fair. I did the same thing. I was like, this is a lot easier method of doing what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
the dish comes out better. And people were like, but that's not the way you're supposed to make it. I'm like, listen, trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Or like I take my time like merchandising something and then throw them out and they're like, I just told you like just to throw them out. Yeah, but if you tell just a random person to throw them out, they will literally do that. With me, yeah, I take great care into it, so yeah, trust me. I know what I'm doing.
The other girl hurries back to the kitchen, clearly not caring about what Aspen was about to say. Aspen sighs and shakes her head. Also, you get 2 free drinks. Like, let's go.
Let's go.
Right, well, I have to open the registers and put on the coffee. I'll have your drink in a couple minutes.
Okay, thanks.
I hop on one of the tall stools and wait, swinging my legs back and forth. Before long, the cafe fills with the smell of warm coffee and baking bread. It doesn't make my mouth water, even though it hasn't been long since I last ate. Aspen roams between the kitchen and the front area, always looking very busy. She checks and inspects what seems like every drawer and cabinet into place while getting ready. Lena's busy too, mopping and setting up chairs. At some point, she put earphones in, and her music is loud enough for me to hear it from across the building. After a while, Aspen returns to my table, along with a steaming paper cup.
Here you go. One ambrosia latte.
I pop the lid off so I can take a peek at the drink itself. It smells light and fruity, and a swirl of caramel syrup is melting into the coffee and whipped cream.
Looks good. Hopefully it tastes good too.
I have a tiny little sip since it's too hot to drink very fast. The tartness of the apple actually goes pretty well with the coffee flavor.
It's a little sour, but it's not bad. Not as
Ooh.
good as a fairy kiss chiller, though.
Well, I can't complain about that.
The chair squeaks against the floor as Aspen sits down across from me.
So, have you decided how you're going to spend your day?
Not yet. What about you?
There's still another 7.5 hours left on my shift, so I'll be here for quite a while. After work, I try to have a social life or get some writing done. Although lately I usually just collapse on the bed and take a nap.
Hey, me too! Without a bed, though.
Yes, well, I'm sure frolicking through the flowers and chasing rabbits gets tiring.
Aspen.
Are there rabbits around here?
Not for long, I imagine. Speaking of which, have you thought about what I said yesterday? About getting a job? It seems you have more than enough time on your hands.
Aspen, you just realize I cannot read. I cannot get a
Yeah.
job.
It's like, I can't even read. What makes you think I can write a CV?
I need to go to Juliet, spend some time at the library in the kids section, then we'll think about getting a job.
Yeah.
You do know what a job is, right?
More or less. I mean, I've seen people at work before, but I've never had my own job before you ask.
Yes, I'm aware. Anyway, you'd have money to buy things you want, and you wouldn't have to steal to get it.
What do I need money for, though? Juliet lets me sleep at her house, and she even gives me food.
I don't mean to sound rude or anything, but Juliet can't take care of you forever, you know?
Well, I mean... both-
Okay, she's not wrong, but at the same time...
She
She's
could. They're,
yeah.
they're both, I guess, like, they're both really, really old. Because, like, Aspen's human. I'm assuming she's human.
Yeah.
But Miho's been around for a while. And I'm just going to assume Juliet's been around for a while because the whole underworld thing. But...
Yeah.
and the clothing, like, style is very not of this age.
Hmm.
I know.
Right now, I'm still getting used to even living here. I haven't given any thought to what might happen later on.
I don't even know what kind of job I could get. Is there some place that would hire me to steal things?
Not legally, no.
The government?
True?
Maybe you could be a security guard somewhere, or a locksmith.
Maybe. What exactly is your job, anyway?
Well, as you know, I'm a barista. That means I make coffee and tea and hot chocolate and whatever else our customers ask for. Some people rely on our products just to get through their day, so I consider it to be a very important job. If we were to close or go out of business, there would be a great many people who would be distraught over it.
Wow!
Yeah?
And you're gonna do this for the rest of your life?
Not for that long, I hope. It's not my passion by any means, but I don't mind it. It can be rather exhausting, though, especially on busy days.
I can't say she's selling me on this whole job idea.
What is your passion?
It's this.
Like she was waiting for me to ask, Aspen dramatically pulls out a small notebook and puts it on the table. It's the one that I see her writing in all the time. I lean forward to look at it closely. It's not very big, but about the size of my hand, and it's mostly purple in color. There's an intricate gold pattern around the border. It definitely looks fancy. I should probably get a lot of money for this at the right store.
This is my writing notebook. One of them, at least. My passion is writing, bringing stories and characters to life, making people feel what I feel. There's nothing quite like it. So challenging, yet rewarding. It's both my favorite activity and also the most frustrating one.
Oh, that's a mood.
That is definitely a mood.
Story ideas, lines that I come up with, or other interesting details. One of the best parts of working here at the Bell House is that I get to meet so many interesting and inspiring people. For example, when you first came in, I wrote a brief note about you. I never imagined that just a few days later we'd be having this conversation.
Trust me, I didn't either. What did you write about me?
For some reason, Aspen's face gets a little red. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I can't let you know my fanfic."
Yeah, it's not safe for work. I need to censor this first.
What's not safe for work?
I don't remember, just that I wrote something. It's in another notebook, not this one. My dream is that someday I'll be able to make a living from my writing. In fact, when I moved to Wellington a couple years ago, that was supposed to be the first step. It's been taking longer than I'd like so far. Every morning when I wake up, I tell myself that I'm not going to sleep that night until I finish at least a chapter. But then by the time I'm done with work, all I want to do is pass out.
Oh, Aspen, stop calling me out.
Further behind. I've really only
Yep.
myself to blame, I suppose, but life doesn't make it easy for me.
Sighing, Aspen puts her notebook away once more while I sip my drink.
Saying it like that, I can't fault you for not wanting to get a job. I'm only here because I need some way to pay the bills. That's just the life of a starving artist for you.
Did someone say job? Are you getting a job here? Is this an interview?
Lena, please! Go do your own
Lena!
thing!
Lena!
From out of nowhere, Lena appears with a cup in her hands.
No, Miho's just a friend. And were you eavesdropping on us?
It's not eavesdropping if you're in public.
No, it totally is.
You should
It depends how loud you are.
if you
Yeah, that's
want
fair.
people to hear you. Like me.
Tell me.
Okay.
Speaking.
Lena's not wrong on that.
About what?
Before Aspen can even answer, Lena turns to face me instead.
Anyway, that's too bad. We could definitely use the help. Hey, why not apply here if you're looking for work? I bet Aspen would put in a good word for you, right?
Mm.
I could do it too. It'd kind of be lying, I guess, since I don't know you that well, but you seem like an alright person. I mean, if Aspen trusts you, you have to be okay, I think. I can go get you an application right now if you want. I printed out a whole stack of them yesterday. Actually, it's the second stack because the first one jammed up the printer and
Lena, I am
Okay.
begging you to please be
Okay,
careful.
Lena's calling me out.
Lena, please, relax. Chill.
Lena, okay, sometimes I can relate and then not relate to Lena at the same time. I love and hate her.
what? Tell me why it's a bad idea. Do you not think... What's your name again?
Miho.
Do you not think Miho could do it?
No, it's not that. I'm sure she'd do great. It's just...
Wait, that sounds fun. Would I get to work with you?
Yeah, we'd work together.
Yay!
I hate you. Yeah, she'd be there too.
No, I want to be with my girlfriend. Slapping her hands on the desk, Aspen stands up from the table.
It's certainly an idea. Perhaps one we should discuss later.
Yes, right after I teach this girl how to read.
Okay, boss.
Please just go unlock the door.
Okay.
Smirking, Lena heads towards the front of the store.
Feel free to hang out for a bit if you'd like, Miho. Although it's going to get busy soon, so I won't...
Oh, wait, I almost forgot. If you need something to do, come play tennis with me this afternoon.
Please!
Yeah, I mean, tennis will be good.
Yeah.
Tennis? Do I eat it?
Ball back and forth over the net.
I know what it is. Is that your hobby?
For now, I like trying new things.
I'll think about it. I should try something new myself too.
I wasn't asking. Anyway, you said it yourself. You're totally coming. So, I'll see you there.
Okay.
I can't help but feel I've been roped into something here, but it's true that I should at least give it a shot. Maybe I'll turn out to like it more than I expect.
Cool.
Lena starts to leave again, but then suddenly jumps back around to face me again.
Oh, right. There's one more thing.
Oh my god, Lena.
How many more things does she have? I can practically feel Aspen's exasperation as Lena runs back and slams the cup that she was carrying onto the table in front of me.
Try this. Tell me which one you like more. The one I made or the one Aspen made.
Okay.
With an unnecessarily loud sigh, Aspen goes and unlocks the front door herself. I'm over halfway done with Aspen's drink, but I take another gulp, paying attention to the mix of flavors. And I do the same with Lena's. Lena watches eagerly, fists clenched in excitement.
So, what you think? Come on, be honest.
I can't taste a single difference.
They're both
Bruh.
sure, but which one
Taking another sip of each, I try to detect anything that's different between them, but can't.
Me ho. My gal.
Fortunately, Aspen saves me. She looks behind Lena like a phantom.
Lena, don't you think maybe you should go check the croissants?
Croissant.
Croissant.
No, I already looked at them earlier.
Croissant.
A couple of them were kind of schoolish, but I tried to massage them back into shape.
Okay.
Don't worry,
Oh, nope. Okay. For once, Lena's the one cut off as Aspen jerks on her apron strings and she flaps her wings to maintain her balance.
Why don't you go check on them again? Or maybe the muffins, if you haven't yet.
Fine, fine. We all know Miho just didn't want to hurt your feelings anyway.
Aspen releases her, and Lena walks off to the back of the cafe like an embarrassed cat, pretending it was her idea all along. After she disappears to the kitchen, Aspen sighs yet again.
I'm sorry about that.
It's fine. She seems nice.
That is certainly one way you could describe her. What I was trying to say earlier is that you can stay here if you want, but I won't be able to chat. Our first customers will be here any minute now.
That's okay.
Oh, yes, the breakfast
I'll
rush.
probably go back to the library once I finish my drinks.
All right, I'll see you later then. And don't feel obligated to finish both if you don't want to.
I'm gonna try. Bye!
Like Lena, Aspen also retreats behind the counter and starts filling the display case with pastries. Wonder if any of them are the croissants Lena was talking about. Sure enough, it isn't long for the first customers start to show up. Aspen takes her orders with that fake nice voice that she used when we first met. Already I've gotten more used to hearing her regular speaking voice instead. It's interesting to know that even normal humans like her still pretend to be other people sometimes. I wonder why she feels like she has to do that. So far she's one of the nicest humans I've ever met. After I finish up my first coffee, I toss the cup away, but hold on to the second. I'll drink it later or something. Okay, you can have this.
Aspen waves as I leave the bell house and start making my way back to the library. I've had my fill of wandering around for at least a few days. If I'm going to be bored, I may as well do it whilst I'm comfy. Job or not, Aspen is definitely right about one thing. I really need to find something better to do with my time.
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
Let me do a save. We have not done it in a while.
Mhm.
Thank you for those.
Okay.
Okay, so apparently we can only go to the park.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I guess we're gonna go hang out with Lena.
Yep. Lena. After a few hours of sitting around in the library, I'm bored enough to take Lena up on her offer to play tennis. The only problem is I forgot to ask her where and when. Sometime in the afternoon, I'll go down to the bear house where the employee tells me both Aspen and Lena have left for the day. They gave me directions to a place called Hataitai Park. Hataitai Park, which is something the Lena mentioned before heading out. I follow their instructions and reach a big, open area full of people on bikes, walking or just sitting on the grass. I wander around, looking for any sight of Lena or people playing tennis. Finally, I spot the courts and make my way over. Out of a dozen or so people who were playing, it isn't hard to find Lena when I got there.
Yeah! Nice serve!
She runs back and forth, leaping and diving to hit the little green ball before it can touch the ground. She flaps her wings to keep it from falling over when she does. Her partner, a tall boy with antlers on his head, looks exhausted. When he swings his racket, it looks like his right arm might fall off at any second. When I get close enough, Lena notices me and stops mid-dive.
Miho! You're late!
That's a cute outfit, though.
Oh, that's cute. Now that she's distracted, her partner takes the opportunity to hurry away, collapsing into the grass to rest.
Sorry, I wasn't sure what time I should come by. Or where.
Oh, right. I guess I should have told you. In that case, good guess.
I don't bother telling her that I got help from one of her co-workers. Lena picks up a racket from nearby and offers it to me.
Ready to play?
I guess so. I don't really know the rules though.
It's fine. Me either. Just try to hit the ball, alright?
Okay, I can do that.
I take my spot on the other side of the net, trying to imitate the way other people are standing.
Alright, here goes.
Lena drops the ball and then knocks it towards me. I watch it carefully, and when it gets close enough, I swing. The ball goes soaring way over her head and falls into the grass out of sight somewhere.
Maybe a little less oomph next time. Let's try it again.
She serves the ball, and this time I just barely hit it over the net. She dives for it like before and sends it sailing back to me. The more we play, the easier it gets. Both of us miss the ball or knock it into the net a lot, but it's not too bad. Finally, even Lena gets tired and we take a break to drink some water.
How long have you played tennis?
Like, today or in my life?
In your life?
She thinks about it for a bit, scrunching up her nose.
About a week.
Oh, wow.
That's it?
Yeah, how about you?
About half an hour, I guess.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. See? We're both trying new things.
The whole time we're talking, Lena keeps glancing away from me to watch the other players. I try to figure out what's so interesting, but can't.
Okay, break's over. Let's play some more.
We get back to the court and play for a little longer, until the end of the hour as everyone else starts to pack up and leave. I follow Lena, who puts away our equipment.
So, what'd you think? Did you have fun?
It was alright. I wouldn't mind doing it again, but I don't know if I'd want to play all the time. I can see why some people enjoy it at least.
Being outside is nice. It was a good way to burn off some energy.
That's good. They meet a few times a week if you want to come back.
Will you be here?
Not sure yet.
Even while cleaning up, she's still distracted by someone or something else. When the other players walk past us on their way out of the park, Lena turns her head to watch one of them.
Because we're planting trees here next time. Really exciting, right? If you want to help out, then come to me after.
I catch a snippet of a conversation as the person Lena's watching, a dryad, goes by. Lena must hear too, because she instantly closes her eyes and puts her fingers against the side of her forehead.
Planting trees. Planting trees.
He repeats the words to herself a few times, and then her eyes snap back open.
Okay, got it.
What?
Got what?
What I'm doing next time. I'll have to start studying up tonight so that I'm ready.
I wonder if Lena has ADHD.
Say so.
More, you know what? I kind of think she does.
Aw, nice. I'm pretty lost, but maybe this is just how Lena is.
You should come too, if you're not doing anything. I'll tell Aspen to give you the details.
Sure. Sounds good.
I'm not sure if I want to commit, especially since Lena probably won't remember me the next time we see each other, but playing tennis wasn't so bad. So I should keep at least my options open.
Good. Alright, see you then, Miho.
See ya.
Waving goodbye, Lena heads off down to one of the paths. I take a different one that leads me out of the park and back to the library for the rest of the day. With a tiny ding, the toast pops up and I load it onto the plate with the other slices. I bring the dish over to the table.
Thank you, Miho. Go ahead and put it by the butter.
Oops, sorry. Let me get my bag out of your way.
Once the table is set, the three of us sit. I've gotten more used to the routine of breakfast and know when to do things like pass the salt and pepper without being asked. Every morning so far, we have the same thing, eggs and toast. But it's a lot tastier than convenience store food, and there are different spreads and fruits to change things up. Like usual, I'm the first one to finish eating, followed by Aspen, who stretches with a content sigh.
My bad. How do I make that click O? I guess I'll do a quick save real quick. There we go.
There we go.
Breakfast was as superb as always. Thank you, Juliet.
It's my pleasure.
The two of them saying this is the part of the routine too. Usually, Aspen will be getting up right now to leave for work, except this time she doesn't.
Don't you need to go, Aspen?
Is this your way of trying to get rid of me?
She peers at me from over the rim of a cup as she sips her coffee.
Nah, I haven't thought about that. I was just wondering.
I'm not sure if I should be flattered. Anyway, I'm working a mid-shift today, so I don't have to go in until noon.
Ah.
Will you be writing then?
Yes, I ought to. I'm about halfway through this draft, and I'm trying to finish it by the end of this month, so every minute helps.
Oh my, halfway already. That's excellent progress. I look forward to reading it when you're finished.
Don't give me too much credit, I still have to get there first, and you know how that's gone before.
All you can do is keep trying.
What are you writing?
A book. I've been working on it for a couple of years now, as long as I've been in Wellington.
Whoa, you're only halfway done? How long is it gonna be?
Only halfway! I wish it was as easy as you think it is. It takes time to plan the story and prepare to write, and then, even after the drafting is done, you still have to edit it and fix it. Of course, the more you write, the better you become at it. And so, sometimes you notice flaws in your story that you didn't catch before, so you have to go back or start over.
How do you ever get anything done then if you're always getting better? Don't you just have to finish it eventually?
Well, like I said, it's not that simple.
Aspen clears her throat.
Anyway, it's difficult to explain to someone who's never written anything. Believe me, any writer would tell you the same thing.
I glance over at Juliet, who's intently watching her tea as she stirs it.
And you? Did you end up finding something to fill your time?
Oh, like a hobby. Maybe. I don't know yet.
Well, don't worry about it too much. It's supposed to be fun, not something you have to force yourself to do. Although I'm hardly one to talk, there are times where I want to do anything except write.
It's okay. At least you have something. Julia told me about movies, so I might try watching one of those. Have you ever seen a movie?
Once or twice, I'm sure.
Actually, Miho, there was something I wanted to ask you.
What's that?
Well, how would you feel about helping out around the library as a part-time job? I'll pay you for your time, of course. It would give you something to do during the day, and it would be a great help to me.
Really?
Ooh.
But I thought you didn't need any help running the library.
I mean, true. Like, she can only, like, run it at night since you can't be out during the day.
Ooh. But who would visit the library at night?
I think it's closed at night. I think that's why, like, everything gets done during that time.
Ah, like cleaning and
Yeah,
rearranging everything, and yeah.
The honor
That makes
system is
sense.
working well for the day-to-day services, and I'm kept informed of any troublemakers.
That's why there's like a sign up sheet at the front, because she just like, as she says, an honor system of like, yeah, check out the books, but like, please write your name down and all that.
Yeah.
But in addition to the kind assistance from Aspen in the mornings, I also have to reshelve books, maintain the check-in and check-out logs, and more. I don't mind those tasks at all. In fact, I find them rather relaxing. But without them, I'd be able to devote more time to other pursuits. If you're uninterested, you're more than welcome to decline. You needn't worry about being kicked out or disappointing me. I'm perfectly content either way.
Helping around here doesn't sound bad at all. It doesn't sound very exciting either, but it's not like I found anything else I'd rather do instead. At least it's comfy in a library and super convenient. Having some money again would be nice too. It would even be better that that there's no one trying to take it back.
Alright, I'll do it.
Hooray! Juliet looks a little taken back.
That was fast. Are you quite sure?
Yeah, I'll try it at least.
Of course. If you find it's not for you, then I won't be upset. Why don't you take the rest of the week for yourself, and you can begin on Monday?
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Excellent. I'll be looking forward to it then.
Ooh. The two of them chat a little longer before Aspen leaves to go to write, and Juliet goes to bed. I stay mostly quiet, thinking to myself. A job. That's something I never envisioned having. I'd figured I'd just keep stealing until... Until what exactly? I'm not too sure. Until I find my person, I guess. The goal has been all I focused on my entire life. But now, spending time here in Wellerton is actually making me plan things out in advance. When I start to think about the future, there's a lot of emptiness and mystery. It makes me realise just how little I have to fall back on. That's why doing all these normal things, like getting a job, will be good for me. I don't know what might be useful someday. As for my person, I'm still always thinking about them and how I can find them. That part hasn't changed. For now, I'll just go with the flow and see where it takes me.
Okay, I'll go from here.
Okay?
Okay. So it looks like Cuba Street and Waterfront have characters, and the rest of them I think are just like just pass the time by ourselves. So I guess we could do.
Yeah.
Let's actually do people.
Yeah.
Let's go to Waterfront.
Ooh.
What-
Well, try... Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I'll go from here.
Okay.
While trying to think of something to do, I suddenly remembered the fishing lessons that Juliet told me about. I'm already pretty good at fishing as a fox, but does it have its downsides? But it does have its downsides, like having to get all wet and ending up with scales in my teeth. I know some people go fishing for fun, so maybe I'd like it too. At the very least, it could be useful to know someday. Besides, it's not like I've got anything better to do. Down at the waterfront, there's a big crowd like always. Merchant booths that Juliet pointed out to me have long lines and clusters of people in front of them. Right along the water, there are fishermen selling all kinds of fresh fish. The smell mixed with the salty sea air is making me hungry. I wander over to the spot that Juliet pointed out to me. Today there's half a dozen people with fishing rods in their hands, lines out in the water. They're all spaced apart, and behind them is a man who's giving instructions.
Hold on. Don't I know him?
I look closer. Sure enough, it's the man I met on the mountain not too long ago, who taught me what a kiwi is. He paces between the people fishing, adjusting their posture and giving them advice. There's another person helping him out, a younger guy who's untangling lines and preparing supplies. One of the fishermen waits at the instructor for help.
Hey, Mr. Kim, can you give me a hand?
Yeah, of course, he'd be like a pirate.
Come in.
Mr. Kim practically skips over and shows the person how to send out their
I
line.
need some help too. Well, which bait should I use?
That depends on the fish. Let's take a look.
He bounces around between the group before he spots me and gives me a big hearty wave.
Hello there, miss. Here for a bit of fishing?
I was thinking about it.
You've certainly come to the right place. First time fishing?
With a rod, at least. I usually do it with my teeth.
Oh, I can't say I've ever tried that myself, but if you'd like to learn how to do things our way, I'd be glad to show you.
Sure, why not? I came all this way.
That's the spirit. Here, why don't you go ahead and stand here?
I take a spot on the pier and face the water. Mr. Kim goes through how to hold a rod, how to put bait on the hook, and finally, how to cast. Once he's done explaining, he steps back to give me some space.
All right. Now let's see what you've got.
Right, so I stand like this and put my hand here.
I do my best to copy everything he showed me, and then with a flick of my wrist, I cast my line out to the sea.
Perfect! Nice job. Oh, I forgot to ask for your name.
Miho.
Nice job, mijo. Keep it up and you'll be a master angler in no time.
How long does it take to catch one?
Well, now that depends on the fish. It could be minutes or it could be hours. I've been after the same fish for years.
Whoa, don't you ever go home?
He laughs, and I'm reminded of the first time we met up on the mountain.
I certainly do. But I always come back. Patience is the most important virtue, other than maybe a bit of luck.
Mr. Kim goes to check on the others, while I stand there, waiting. Doesn't seem like anyone else is getting a bite, so at least it's not just me. Suddenly, one of the other fishers yells with excitement.
I got one! I got one!
They frantically start to reel in their catch. All of us gather around to watch.
Steady, steady.
They plant their feet firmly, reeling with all their strength, but it's clear that the fish is fighting back.
Can you help?
Of course.
Mr. Kim also grabs the rod, and together, the two of them manage to land their catch. Everyone, including myself, gasps as the fish breaks through the surface, its red scales shining in the sunlight. Mr. Kim lets go as the fisher can admire their prize.
Whoa! And isn't she beautiful? Congratulations.
Ooh.
My stomach rumbles just from watching. Unfortunately, after a few more minutes of waiting for my own fish, I still don't get any bites. Finally, it's time to pack up and head home. Mr. Kim catches me before I can leave the pier.
So, what'd you think, mijo? Does it beat the ways you've gone fishing before?
It was okay. I didn't catch anything in the end. But it was cool to watch you and that other person get one.
It's like that sometimes. You just have to keep trying. I hope we'll see you around again sometime.
Yeah, maybe. Thanks for showing me all that stuff.
In the end, it was just a lot of just standing around. What he said about needing patience makes sense, but if I'm looking for something fun to do, then I'm not sure if this is exciting enough. But it was kind of relaxing, and I still think it would be useful to learn. Either way, I'm glad I came and checked this place out. Now to go to see if Juliet keeps any seafood in the fridge at the library.
Jesus.
Once we finish eating breakfast, Juliet drums her fingers on the table, looking thoughtful.
Miho, it occurred to me that perhaps I should give you the proper tour of the library now. That way, you have the weekend to get better acquainted with it if you need.
Tour? I think I've seen everything, right?
Pardon. I meant the books themselves. Where to find each genre and what they are.
Oh, right. Sure.
I hadn't really thought about the books. To me, they're all the same, but I guess that wouldn't be true for everyone else. Right now, I have the place memorized in the same way you'd memorize a battlefield. What places are out of sight, how to get in and out, and anything else that might be useful. I don't think there are many battles that happen in here, so Juliet's tour would probably be more helpful.
If you'd like, I can show you a couple of my favorite books. That way, if anyone asks for a recommendation, you could at least make something up.
That'd be great.
Anything that makes it easier for me to make things up is fine by me. The three of us head to the entrance.
Let's start with the basics, shall we? As you know, this is the reference desk. It's where books are checked in and out, and where anyone who needs help can find it.
What kind of help do people ask for?
Usually, they need assistance finding a specific book. Or perhaps they need a recommendation for what to read next, as Aspen mentioned.
Hope they like the same books as her then.
Don't worry, I'll think of some that are more popular. Not my real favorites, which most people would be too bored to finish.
Juliet leads us into the actual rows of shelves. I stare down the books as I pass by, committing as many details to memory as I can. Even if I can't read the words, I can try to remember the colors and shapes and covers.
Over here is the children's section. It's got lots of picture books and beginner reader books. The shelves are shorter too, so that children can reach them more easily.
Oh, I've seen some of those around. Are adults allowed to read them too?
Yes, you need to read them, Miho.
Of course.
Yes.
Parents read to their kids quite often.
Some people read them for fun, too.
Yeah.
You gain so much more appreciation for the illustrations once you're older.
We head over to another area.
This is the non-fiction section. It's for books about things that are true, rather than made-up stories.
I rarely visit this section, personally.
In a shady corner near Aspen's favorite table, Juliet taps a small sign hanging on one of the shelves.
This is the mystery section. Stories about detectives, murders, and other such subjects live here.
I do admire mystery writers. It's difficult to come up with a compelling one.
We go around the whole library like this, with Juliet and Aspen pointing out all the other sections. Finally, we come to a stop back at the desk where we started.
I do believe that's everything. Do you feel like you have a good understanding now?
It's hard to keep them all straight. Fantasy, history, cookbooks, biographies. I think I've got most of it though.
By the end, my head feels like it's spinning, and I know that I won't be able to remember everything as hard as I try. But I do feel like I've gotten a better feeling for the place. At the very least, I could show someone where to find the restrooms.
It is a lot to take in. Don't worry if you can't memorize it all right away. There's plenty of time to learn.
Even I forget where things are sometimes, and I've spent more time here than at my own apartment.
Thanks! It might take me a while, but I'll get it eventually.
I know you will. I have the utmost confidence in you.
Okay, so Aspen doesn't live with them. He just comes by early in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
Okay, yeah.
If I'm going to do this, I may as well try my best. Maybe something good will come from it. And if not, I can always just leave.
Want me to show you the books I was thinking of now?
Sure!
I'll be off to bed myself then. Have a lovely day, you two.
Sleep well.
Night!
Juliet heads upstairs while Aspen and I go back to the shelves.
To start with,
She leads the way to the fiction section, which is easy to remember since it's the biggest. Aspen runs a finger across the books as we move down an aisle. I see her scanning the titles before she stops and taps the spine of one.
here we are, Wuthering Heights. I just returned this one recently after finishing my annual reread. It's a very tragic love story. The main character is rather terrible, I must confess, and there's an awful lot of death. But despite all that, it's beautiful.
That description definitely isn't what I was expecting.
People really like to read that stuff?
Sometimes, yes, you read to experience all kinds of different feelings. Besides, I think there's a kind of sad beauty to doomed romances like that. It really does put life in perspective.
If you say so.
You don't have to take my word for it. I'm sure you'll see for yourself once you start working here. In the meantime,
I follow Aspen to the other side of the room, where there are a couple smaller racks of books near the corner.
do you enjoy poetry?
You mean like races and stuff? Guess they're okay.
That's pottery. Poetry is
She clears her throat.
prose, words in their best order. Poetry, the best words in the best order. Samuel
What?
Coleridge said that.
Okay.
Poet, but he's not the one I have in mind.
You just memorize that?
he
Yeah.
meant.
The book she selects looks old. Very old. It has a green cover that's rough like a lizard's skin, with the letters being faded gold.
Alfred Lord Tennyson is one of the most famous poets to have existed. I simply adore his work. Here, this is from The Lady of Shalott. Ahem.
She clears her throat again, even though it's only been a few seconds since the last time.
Willows whiten, aspens shiver. The sunbeam showers break and quiver. In the stream that runneth ever, by the island in the river, flowing down to Camelot.
I barely heard past the first line.
Aspens, like your name. Does it come from this poem?
If only. Aspens are a type of tree. Mum loves them. More than she likes poetry, for sure. I do wish I'd been named after it, though.
She
I
reads.
just realized that I read that line. I'm so sorry. I
No,
didn't-
you're good. You're good. You're good. She reads me the rest of it, which ends up being pretty long. It's kind of hard to follow, but imagining the fields and towers he talks about is nice. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've been to Camelot before. Some of the details in the poem aren't quite right. Anyway, even if I don't really understand the poem, it's nice to listen to Aspen reading it. Plus, there's no way I'll forget what that book looks like.
Alright, last one. I thought 3 would be enough to start, but you can always ask me for more recommendations if you need. I could suggest books until lunch, if I didn't stop myself.
I might someday. Even though I lived in the library for a few days now, I never really knew how many different books there were out there before.
Oh, believe me, this library isn't even a fraction of what exists. It's not that big for a library, in fact. Just huge for a personal collection, which is really what it is.
How many books have you read?
I couldn't even guess. Definitely hundreds. Maybe thousands? I've never tried counting, but perhaps I should now that you mention it. It would be nice to look back on someday. Okay, here we are.
The book she takes me to is laid out flat, on an end table where more people can see it, rather than on the shelf.
Everyone knows the story of Peter Pan, the boy who never grows up and can fly.
Everyone except me.
But say, yeah, she's not gonna know.
Yeah. Nope.
Now you do too. Peter has a darling fairy friend named Tinkerbell, and he fights
I wouldn't
the
call her
dastardly
darling.
pirate Captain Hook. Peter leads a group of boys called the Lost Boys, and they cause all sorts of trouble for Neverland, where they all live.
What do you mean he never grows up?
In Neverland, you never get older. So he stays a young boy for his whole life. Even when...
Oh, my bad.
You sure do like sad stories, huh?
I suppose I do. It's as Peter Pan himself says. To die would be an awfully big adventure. Still, it's not like I only like sad things. Romance is my favorite genre, and not just the tragic kind.
I sit down on one of the chairs. This seems like Aspen wants to have a conversation. May as well get comfy. Aspen sits down too, fidgeting with the strap of her purse.
Why is it your favorite?
Why? Well,
Her hands stop moving while she thinks.
in a book, things can be much more perfect than in real life. A moonlit balcony all alone, or a sunset kiss on the seashore. Real life is considerably messier. I've never been in love before, although I think it sounds quite nice. As I said earlier, people read to feel things. So until that time, living vicariously through other stories is enough. What about you?
What about me?
Do you ever hope to fall in love? I assume you haven't been in love before, but maybe I'm wrong.
Nah, I haven't. I like being on my own.
Do you think maybe that would change if you met the right person?
I don't know. Maybe. I haven't thought about it much. since everyone forgets me, there's never been a reason for me to care.
I suppose that's reasonable. Still, that must be... Well, it doesn't matter. Do you ever watch movies? Or TV? Just about everything has a love story in it nowadays, not just books.
Nah, not in a long time.
How long?
You sure ask a lot of questions, and I jump around topics so much too. I don't really mind, but I have to try hard to even remember the answers. All the places I've seen and days I've spent have mostly blurred together in my head.
I'm not sure. A few years? There was a really big crowd around a window, so I wanted to see what they were all looking at.
And? What was it?
I don't know what it was. I didn't speak the language there yet, and I didn't memorize the sounds. But on TV, there were these people in white suits bouncing around, and the people watching seemed really excited by it.
What? What are you watching?
People in white suits.
Aspen gasped.
Did the people on TV, do you remember by chance if the place they were hopping around looked like a desert, all rocky and empty?
Now that you mention it, yeah. How did you know?
She dashes a hand to her forehead in disbelief.
That was the moon landing.
Oh.
Oh. Okay, so yeah,
Oh.
Miho is like super old then.
Mm.
No, I'm pretty sure I'd remember if the moon landed.
Not like that, silly. It was when humans went to the moon for the first time.
Wait, they did?
Yes, and you saw it happen, apparently.
They must have had help from the Fableds magic, right?
No, not this time. It was pure human ingenuity.
Whoa.
You look surprised.
I am. I didn't know humans could do something like that.
Well, not just any human. It took a lot of work from a lot of people. It still does to this day. I can't believe you got to watch it live, though. What was it like?
Had a really good lunch that day. Everyone was so distracted that I was able to sneak into a restaurant that usually would have caught me.
She shakes her head.
It's just like
Can
facepalm.
remember.
You lived through a historical event and you didn't care?
It was some kind of pasta dish with a white sauce and lots of cheese.
I meant about... Oh, never mind. Anyway, I was just going to suggest asking Juliet about putting a TV in your room.
Okay, so what's bad is that they've already shown the room and there is a TV in there. So I guess just, you know, we already have the asset, so just don't remodel it.
Surely there's
Yeah.
one in this place somewhere. It would give you something to do, at least. And you don't have to be able to read to enjoy the story of a good show or movie.
Yeah, I might. I definitely need something to do other than walk around town all day.
Let me know if you do. I'll bring over some movies for you to borrow. If I can't recommend books to you, at least I can do that.
Will do. I don't know where else I'd start anyway.
After checking her phone, Aspen stands back up.
I'll be more than happy whenever you ask. For now, not to be rude, but I'm going to go write for a little while. I'm working on the last couple chapters of this book before I'm finished, and I want to be done with it as fast as I can.
Oh, sure. Good luck.
To tell the truth, I'm always a bit relieved when someone else ends the conversation for me. I never know how to do it myself. Same.
Yeah, I have no idea how to end a conversation.
I wave goodbye as Aspen goes off to her table by the window, pen in hand. Within moments, she's hunched over her notebook, writing. I'll let you take the next one. And you want to go to Tai Tai to go talk to Lena?
Yeah, I may as well. Since I don't have anything better to do, I decide to head back to the park to see Lena. Aspen told me where and when I can find her, although we both know that Lena won't have any idea who I am. Making sure that I see Aspen and Juliet every day is hard enough as it is. Although I like Lena, I don't think I could put in the effort to have her remember me too. Maybe if she started coming by the library in the mornings like Aspen does, although I'm pretty sure that's the last thing Aspen would ever want to happen. I go back to the park where we play tennis and wander around searching for Lena. It takes a bit longer since I'm not looking for something as obvious as a tennis court, but I finally find her in a group of people near some trees. All of them, including her, have shovels in their hands and they're working on digging holes. Finally, something I'm good at. Although compared to tennis, it looks more like a punishment than a hobby. I walk over to Lena, who barely made a dent in the ground. She waves when she sees me, but not in a familiar way.
Hi there. Here to volunteer?
Maybe? Volunteer for what?
To save the planet, duh! What does it look like we're doing?
Digging in the dirt?
Exactly! We're planting new trees to, help beautify the city of Wellington by promoting natural resources. I think.
She says the second part like she's reading off a label or a sign.
If you want to help out, go talk to Cyrus. He'll get you all set up.
Lena points over at someone that I sort of recognize, the dryad that Lena was watching when we played tennis. Since I'm here, I may as well give it a shot, so I'll follow her instructions and walk over.
Hi there. I'm here to help out.
Welcome aboard. I'm Cyrus. Here's a sapling and a shovel.
Oh, okay.
He sounds so
Cyrus
disinterested.
He sounds so done. Cyrus holds out a shovel in one hand and a small bucket with a tree in the other. I take them, doing my best to not drop the sapling.
Okay. I'm Miho. What do we do now?
First you dig, then you plant. Then you do that over and over until you get bored and go home.
That sounds easy enough.
Everyone says that at first. Good luck.
He starts to walk away and then pauses.
Hey, quick question. Are you friends with that girl over there? The one with the wings?
Lena? Sort of.
Can you let me know if she... Actually, never mind. Forget it. Let me know if you need my help.
Is she what? Is she what, Cyrus? This time he really does leave, walking around to check the progress everyone is making. Now that I'm all set up, I take the things he gave me and go back to where Lena is.
Good to go? Since you're new too, let's have a race. We can see who plants more trees by the end.
Before I can respond or even think about it, Lena starts furiously hacking at the ground. Dirt flies like I was building my den. I watch her for a second and then start on my own. I don't really want to compete with Lena, so I go at my own pace. It's a little awkward. I could do this in seconds as a fox, but using a shovel feels strange and inefficient. Muscles I don't even know I have starts to feel sore. Only a few minutes later, Lena sprawls on the ground in exhaustion. She's only halfway done at best.
I didn't think it'd be so hard to dig a hole.
That's a mood. While she's laying there, Cyrus comes around on one of his inspections. He stops and examines both of our handiwork.
Nice job, Miho. You're a natural.
Hey.
Lena? Good effort.
Okay.
Lena leaps to her feet, using her wings to propel herself into a standing position.
I wasn't taking a break. I was, testing the ground to see if it might be softer over here. Look, this one will be even better.
Before our eyes, Lena starts to attack the ground again, even faster than when she started racing me. Dirt sails over our heads as she tosses away from herself, with some of it falling onto Cyrus's head. He looks strangely resigned.
Just don't hurt yourself, okay? I don't want to have to carry someone to the hospital again.
Mm,
Carrie? I mean, again?
Lena asks questions without stopping her work.
It's a long story. Anyway, just be careful.
As he begins to leave, Cyrus puts a hand on my shoulder. I tense up, but manage not to shake it off.
Keep an eye on her, would you?
I nod and Cyrus walks away. As soon as he's out of earshot, Lena comes to a halt.
Miho, right? I need you to break my arm.
Oh my god.
My god!
What?
I'm sorry, I beg your father's pardon.
Maybe that's a bit much. Maybe just a finger would be enough.
Why would you want to do that?
Oh, you're right! A broken leg would make more sense.
I'm not entirely sure we're having the same conversation. I decide to try a different approach.
So, are you and Cyrus friends or something?
Friends? Kind of. Unfortunately.
You
Oh?
don't want to be friends?
I want to be more than that!
Oh? For the first time ever, Lena looks around after speaking, like she's worried someone might have heard her.
Like, best friends?
More than that! Like boyfriend and girlfriend.
Ooh. Oh. That explains why I didn't understand.
How's that going?
She sighs and her wings droop.
Well, you just saw pretty much. I know Cyrus from ballet, but I quit ballet, so I only get to see him at other stuff like this. But he's always trying something new every week, so I do too.
Okay, so you're stalking him.
But it's kind of hard to talk to him, especially when he's so busy. When I heard he was gonna come plant trees, I had no idea he'd be in charge. So I can't let him think I'm a slacker or bad at tennis. Not when he already thinks I'm a quitter.
I think I get it.
One thing I know for sure, that it sounds complicated. Good luck, Lena. The two of us goes back to shoveling dirt, and eventually we go deep enough that we can plant the sapling Cyrus gave us. I carefully set mine in the ground and then cover it back up the same way I've seen other people doing. When it's time to wrap up, Cyrus makes one last trip around, collecting shovels and handing out water bottles. When he reaches us, he nods approvingly.
Thanks.
I gulp down the water he gives me in just a few swigs.
Yeah, thanks.
On the other hand, Lena still seems a little dejected. She doesn't even try to talk to Cyrus before he leaves. When the two of us part ways, she just gives me a half-hearted wave.
See you later.
Yeah, bye.
I'm not even sure what she'll be doing next time, much less though where or when. Maybe Aspen will tell me about it again. Digging holes wasn't exactly something I want to do a second time, but planting trees was satisfying. I'm kind of curious to see how things go with Lena and Cyrus, if they go at all. Lena's kind of a lot, as Aspen says, but she's nice. I hope everything works out for her at least. Looking around, I notice I'm the only one left, so I toss my empty bottle in the recycling bin and start making my way back.
Okay, so there's a new thing at Waterfront. We go to Cuba Street.
Ooh, okay.
Which one do you want?
I've been to Cuba Street, so I'll go Cuba Street.
Okay. I think this is the divorced family.
Yeah. Feeling like I could use a break, I head down to Cuba Street. While I walk, I count up the bills in my wallet. Not having to worry about money so much is nice. I can buy so many snacks and no one can yell at me now. When I get there, I zero in on a convenience store I stole sandwiches for my first day here. Browse through, grabbing everything that looks good and carrying up to the front where I dump everything onto the counter.
All of these, please.
Oh no.
Are you having a party or something?
No, I just want all these snacks. Leave me alone.
Oh yeah, I'm having a party. I'm having a party of me.
Nope. It's all for me.
Yeah. The impressed looking employee fills up the plastic bag with my bounty, chips and candies and sandwiches.
Now, to find somewhere to enjoy these.
I walk all the way back to the library, but the benches around here are full. I carry my bag up the streets, and then down another, and another. Eventually, I reach a place I've never seen before. A large brick entrance looms over me, with a wide open black gate. People are going in and out freely, so it must be okay. It's not breaking and entering, everyone's doing it, right? As soon as I step in, I'm surrounded by plants. There's green in every direction. I don't have to walk very long until I find exactly what I'm looking for. A nice, quiet bench in the shade of a couple trees. As I'm walking over, something suddenly flies past my face. At first, I thought it was a bird or a piece of cloth caught in the wind, but after a second, I realised it's a fabled. One of that seems kind of familiar. It drifts away without stopping and floats in the opposite direction from me. I go and sit down, unwrapping the snack bar that I bought and taking a big bite. While I'm munching, a bug starts to buzz around my head. I wave it a few times, but it keeps coming back. Well, that sucks.
What is it with things getting in my face today?
No matter how many times I swat at it, the bug doesn't give up. Finally, I go to knock it away, then totally by accident end up catching it in my hand instead. I can feel it buzzing against my palm as it flies around, trying to find a way out. It's not exactly pleasant. I'm not sure what to do with it. If I just toss it in the bushes, he'll come right back.
Can I have that?
A voice from behind almost startles me into letting the bug go. I spin around to come face to face with a fable that flew by minutes ago. Just beneath him is a kid.
Have the bug?
Yeah, it's for my collection.
Boy holds up the book with some pictures of other bugs on it.
I've got almost all the bugs on this page. That's the only one left.
Suddenly, I remember where I've seen both him and the fable before. On the pier hiding from his mum a couple of weeks ago. I think his name was Tommy? It took me a bit to recognise him since he wasn't pouting.
Mom won't let me keep bugs because she says they're dirty, but Dad doesn't mind. So, can I have it? Please?
He pulls out a little jar from one of his pockets and opens the lid.
Well, that solves my problem, I guess.
I dump the bug into the jar and Tommy quickly shuts it.
Thanks. Kirby and I were tracking this one all day.
The fable bops up and down in agreement. At least I think it's agreement. All three of us turn around the footsteps as someone else approaches us. My private spot has filled up pretty fast.
Hi, bud. You catch anything good yet?
Dad! Dad! Look what this lady caught!
up and shoves the jar into the man's face. He takes it and expects a bug inside.
Oh, looks like a big one. Did you say thank you?
Yeah, Gerby did too.
Oh, is that what it meant when you bobbed up and down?
Both Tommy and his dad stare at me like I've just said something crazy. I take an instinctive step backwards.
You mean that...
You can see Gerby? You mean he's real?
Do you also plan to play the new psychological horror game? Oh, I have to look at that.
Oh, that's right. I remember this from last time. No one except Tommy can see Gerby. Tommy and me, apparently.
Yeah, he's floating right there. He has a purple flower on his head and on his sides.
I point to Gerby, although the little fable doesn't have a mouth. His eyes crinkle up in the ways that makes me think that he'd be smiling. Nah.
Wow, she can really see him! See, I told you he was real, told you!
Aw. Tommy's dad's whistle in wonder.
You sure did, kiddo.
He turns to me.
Not sure how you did it, but you're the first person I've met who's been able to see Gerby. I've heard lots about him, of course. My name's Elijah, by the way, and I'm a reporter for one of the local papers. Mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Do you think that's a good idea? To eat a snack in peace. Now being asked to do an interview. My discomfort must show because Elijah waves a hand like I was just trying to wave the bug away.
It's fine, it's fine. Forget I asked. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I'm just not very good at talking to people.
No worries. Thanks for helping Tommy catch that bug, though. Beats me having to do it.
Sure. It was kind of an accident, though.
Hey, an accident doesn't have to be a bad thing. Me and Tommy should probably be heading out, though, or his mum's gonna be upset with me. Oh, and Gerby.
Okay. Goodbye.
Take care. Say bye, Tommy.
Elijah takes Tommy's hand and leads him back out the gate, holding Tommy's book in his other hand. Tommy carries the bug in a jar, peeking in to check on it every few steps. Only Gerby stays behind, orbiting around my head a couple of times before bouncing up and down. Then he floats off in the same direction as the other two. When I'm finally alone, I sigh with relief. At long last, I enjoy the snacks I bought earlier. And when the bug shows up and starts flying around me, I just leave it alone. I'm not taking any more chances.
I'll go from here.
Yeah.
After another day spent containing myself around town, I decided to take Aspen's advice and ask Juliet about a TV. The light is on in Juliet's study, meaning she's in there. I knock on the door and get an instant response.
Come in.
The study hasn't changed at all since I was here a couple days ago. Except there aren't any bats in the corner this time. It's just me and her.
Hi.
Good evening, Miho. What brings you here?
I'm a little bit worried about how to do this. Usually I just take something I want. Lately I've started saying yes when people offer me things. But going in and just asking for something? Well, I'll have to do it sometime.
I had a question. Yesterday, Aspen said I should ask about getting a TV in my room. That way, I'd have something to do.
Oh, that is a good idea. I take it today wasn't particularly exciting either.
Not really. It was fine. Nothing bad happened. I'm just...
I don't want to say I'm bored. What if she thinks I'm blaming her? Or ungrateful? I bite my lip, trying to think of a better way to put it, but she seems to read my mind.
Bored? It's all right, you can say it. An empty room would be boring for anyone. I I believe there should be a television somewhere around. Let's take a look.
I follow behind her out of the office. Juliet takes me down one of the hallways I've never been down, and where I don't think I've ever seen the lights turned on. We pass by several doors.
What are all these rooms? They've been all kinds of things over the years. Bedrooms, studies, playrooms. But now they're mostly just storage.
We stop in front of the one door, indistinguishable from the rest.
I believe this is the one.
It's not locked. Juliet opens it normally. Inside is dark and dusty. The window is covered with heavy curtains that don't let any light in. In other words, what you'd expect from a vampire's house. There's tons of junk leaning against the walls, like some faded bicycles and a dresser that's missing a drawer.
Ah, there it is.
Juliet points and I see what she's looking at. The TV in one corner with its cords wrapped around itself and a thick blanket of dust. We both walk over and I wipe some of the dust away. It immediately blows into my face.
Miho, are you alright?
Oh, that's
Still.
adorable.
I back a few steps away.
As you can tell, it's been a while since I've come in here.
Much more carefully than me, Juliet cleans off the TV.
I believe it should still work though.
Okay, I can move it to my room then.
It's alright. I can take it.
Much more carefully than me, Juliet cleans off the TV. Juliet effortlessly lifts up the TV up and begins to carry it to my room.
Whoa.
I know from plenty of experience that TVs aren't exactly easy to lift.
I need to remind myself to never piss her off.
I hurry after her, arriving at my room just as she sets the TV down in the corner and plugs it in.
Let's see.
Presses the power button, and with a soft buzz, it comes to life.
It works! Indeed. I'm relieved. Let me try to remember how to use it.
It's kind of slow, but she manages to explain all the different buttons and what they do, and how to use the remote. Doesn't seem that complicated, but also, I never learned how to do it either. Once to make sure it's not going to die or anything, Juliet leaves me on my own with it. I change through all the channels, getting an idea for what there is. There are some channels with cartoons, which I know are meant for kids, but also some shows with real people in them. They don't make much sense to me. Maybe if I watched them from the beginning. There are also plenty of ads. I recognize more products than I do shows. That probably has more to do with my lifestyle than anything else, though. Even flipping through stations constantly, I do find myself having much more fun than if I was just napping or walking around. I see why some humans do this all day. Eventually, I go back to one of the cartoon channels. Even if they're for kids, they're easier to follow along with. I pick one and leave it running, climbing into bed to watch. I end up spending a few hours watching, until I fall asleep that night. Having something else to follow along with, and think about it as a nice distraction from having my own doubts and worries creep up on me. If this is what a normal life is like, then maybe it's something I could get used to after all. Buggy, I'm gonna have to call it there for today. I should, is it? Okay, there we go. And then we do a
There
hard
we go.
save.
Yep.
I was hoping we'd get through chapter 2, but we did not, but it's all good.
It's all good.
Again, I'm glad to,
It's the journey, not the destination.
yeah. I'm glad to have you here with me. And if
Yeah.
you want to let people know where they can find you.
Oh, yeah. You can find me. You can find me on the Twitch. You can find me on the Blue Sky. You can find me on, well, probably not TikTok. You can find me on mainly on the Blue Sky, and you can find me on the Twitch.
Okay. And we shouted you out earlier. And again, thank you again. Hope you
Yes.
have a lovely rest of your day and same to everyone else.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah. Thank you
meantime,
so much for having me.
yeah. Meantime, we are going to raid. Let me pull them up. We're going to go over to Miho's Ocelot. And I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.
Okay.
Bye. All right, everyone. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day with Mihos. I've known them. They made my sip coffee emote forever ago, but we're finally gonna raid them. It's been a hot minute. Hope you have a the rest of your day, and until next time, y'all, have a good one. Bye.